Today we are traveling from Guangzhou to Foshan City. As I mentioned before, I have sourced factories that are near to where I was staying in my stay here in Guangzhou. I didn't want to go too far out just because it just didn't make sense for me to travel through 2 or 3 hours to visit a factory further out, especially when most of the things that I'm doing while I'm here are in Guangzhou. So we're going to Foshan City today, and I am going to visit, I set up appointments with 2 factories to see the whole process of sourcing, the process of choosing materials, seeing the product categories that they have, or catalog, because I get catalogs frequently, but actually seeing the products there and touching and feeling the source, it's just amazing. Like I'm very excited about that. Hi, this is Oneida. This is Mary.
Wow. So beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
We'll do a white top. Well, what do we have? We have silver and pink. They're little bits, but they're beautiful. This one I see already. Someone has it, so I don't want it. And of course, I have my list of things that I want to manufacture. A lot of custom pieces. So I'm hoping that they can take what they already have and then reproduce it, because most things that I see are adult size. So with Petite seats, I want them to be children's size. So I'm hoping that they can make custom pieces to add to my product category, my product list.
It's okay.
We're just leaving one factory now. I've been having conversations with them for several weeks now. I found them on Instagram, yes, but also on Alibaba. And then to see the products in person, it's a different experience, because you get to touch and feel, and then selecting like the leather color you want. That to me, like, it just takes the cake. And you cannot find this stuff stateside at all, and it's very hard to source on Alibaba because you don't know if it's legit or not. So being here and selecting the metal finish, selecting the height of the chair, because even though they produce kids' height, it's not the exact dimension, because they're going by what they think a kid will sit on, but actually having the actual measurement that I know works for like that age range of 5 to 7. So some things have to be tweaked, but apart from that, it was great. Like seeing it, touching it, feeling it, and again, back to that personal connection with a person. So when there's an issue, you know who to call. And then the whole buying process, it just seems more simplified this way. They have the 30% down, 70% once the pictures and the videos are sent, and it's done. I'm ordering enough for a container load, so it'll be very simplified. I don't have to worry about piecemealing different pieces. We're just filling a container, and it's simple. With the tables, like, I'm very excited to have tables that do not need linen, because kid parties and tablecloths don't match, because there's always cake that doesn't come out when you wash. There's always paint or something that damages the linen. So having tables that you can just wipe down, they work for me. So I'm excited about that. The next factory we go to, I'm sourcing acrylic pieces, because acrylic is so easily damaged, and I need a ghost chair, because that's like one of the most popular chairs that I rent. And just finding someone on this side that has it, and that I can get it for a good price, because stateside, that chair is, it ranges between like $60 to almost $70. So having it here, which is probably half that price, I'm all for it. Just visited 2 different factories. The reception was great, but very different. So I was sourcing more metal and tables from the first place, and they had all of the items that I needed. And then the second location was just for ghost chairs, which, you know, if you use ghost chairs, you know they are easily damaged. And so sourcing some that are well below market value is what I wanted, and then also cushions for the Chavari chairs. So I got that and tables from the second place. I peed in a hole in the floor for the first time. So very interesting. But I expected that. But the only thing is I have a jumpsuit on, so it's very difficult. But whatever, it happened. That was something that I knew was gonna happen before I left. So it's very different. And the factory. So okay, when we're in the US, we think factories are like this nice and contained, how do you call it, like organized kind of place. But here it's very different. Like the first place we went to, it's a huge building, but it almost looks like abandoned from the outside. So unless you know the address and you know what you're looking for, you would miss it. So we went there, and then each floor there's a different I guess product, because one floor is tables, one floor is like wooden chairs, and then they have like the padding on another floor. It's very different, but it's not like neat and clean and kempt like how we have back in the States. But still, the products get produced. The quality is amazing, but it's just very different. The next place we went to, the second factory, we went to the showroom. Same kind of setup. You have like the office and then the showroom, but we didn't get to see the factory, the actual like raw space where they do the work. And same thing, like when you look outside from the street, it looks very almost like, what is this? You know, if you had to search for the name, there are multiple factories on one space, in one like location or one street, and I'm sure they pretty much probably do the same type of thing. This factory has been in the business for 10 years, but you know, like us coming from Western culture, you're used to things being nice and neat and pretty. That's not what you get here, you know, but the product is still what you want. But the expectation is that you're thinking it's gonna look the same as back home, but no, it's not. It's not. So the pretty face of it is not what you see when you actually go to the factories. When you go to see them in the Canton Fair tomorrow, I'm sure it'll be like a beautiful display. It will be well presented, but then on the back side, on the factory side, that is not what you see. So I'm glad that I got to experience it, because it put things in perspective, you know, particularly when I'm thinking about bringing a group with me. Like, I don't know if I would do a factory tour, because it's almost like if you can source the people from the Canton Fair where it's nice and pretty and have those conversations with them there, that's enough. One of the actual sourcing is done. Spent time in 2 showrooms of 2 factories in, let me get this name right, Foshan City. And it was, like I said before, it was a very eye-opening experience, very different from Western culture. And I feel like I was prepared. I didn't have many questions to ask because we have been doing like the preliminary legwork on WhatsApp. So this was really just to touch and feel the samples, the leather, the metal, to see the paint finishes in person. A big thing that I would suggest for people that are coming here to source is to do the legwork on the back end, so that when you come, you know, it's just like a face-to-face. Oh, the lights just came on. It's just a face-to-face, and you've already started the relationship. So I would suggest you have pictures and dimensions of everything that you want. Of course, in centimeters and metric units, because if you're coming from, you know, the United States, they don't deal in inches and feet and pounds. Everything is in centimeters and kilometers. And having that together, like, let me show you what I did. So I have like pictures of my inspiration, of the chairs that I want to source, and from there I can ask questions. Like, this chair right here was like my #1 item, and they have it, and having them able to see what you want makes the conversation go that much easier, because they can say yes or no immediately just based on looking at your pictures. And then this one has dimensions. So of course I put it in inches first, and then in centimeters, and you know what dimension it would be, height, seat depth, all of that good stuff. So I did this for the kid seats, 2 different sizes, because you know you have the Travari kid size, and then you have like a crossback, which is a bigger seat. And then I did the same thing for the tables. So I have a small table and then a larger table, a larger height table, because you know I have tables that are for younger kids, like between ages 2 and 4, and then a 5 and a 7-year-old. So they're 2 different heights. So those are the things that I was sourcing today, and having these dimensions, so you're not coming to the table with, you know, wishy-washy, like you don't know what sizes you want. So I had this prepared, so the conversation went just much more smoothly, and they were able to immediately calculate what it is that, like the production cost, so to speak, without having to guesstimate. You got to be prepared. You have to come with what you want exactly, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're having a conversation with a manufacturer or a producer and you are wishy-washy. You know, you don't want that, because I feel like when the product is created, you might not like it because you weren't clear on specifically what it is you wanted. That's it. What am I saying? So tomorrow will be day 1 of phase 2 of the Canton Fair. And what I came to China to do, I've already done. So tomorrow is more or less just experiencing the fair, and possibly I may see 1 or 2 items. Actually, the bistro chair I'm looking for. I may see 1 or 2 items that I want to source from the fair, but I came all this way to meet with that one company, and I got the bulk of what it is I want to order. And I guess when you're interested in coming to the Canton Fair, like I said before, you have to have everything that you want already pre-planned, but a huge part of that is to do the legwork as far as knowing what the culture is for the fair. So what I mean, I have a business card, like a standard business card that I use for business when I want new clients. But for this Canton Fair, I ordered new business cards. On the business card, I have my picture. I have a separate email, because I know I'm just gonna get a shit ton of emails from companies. So I set up a separate sourcing email. I have my WeChat and WhatsApp information on there as well. So it's specific just to Chinese norms, I guess, culture. And that is something that I think everyone should do. Have a separate business card. And then another thing that I did that I thought was very necessary is I gave gifts to the people that I want to bridge those relationships with, because, and it's something very simple, you know, it's not anything that was uber elaborate or expensive, but just a gesture. Like, I really want these people to go for bat for me, especially like if I'm asking for a smaller quantity. Say for instance, I source or I get like 100 chairs, right? But I have a client who wants a specific color that I don't have. So if I were to call up this company and I'm like, listen, I have a party coming up, I need 30 chairs. Like, they're gonna be willing to ship me 30 chairs, even if their MOQ is, say, 100. So it's setting those, I guess, guide stones or steps to get what I want in the back end. And it's all about relationships, and that's with any kind of business relationship. You want to set the stones so that when you're asking for something that may seem out of the way, you get what you want.